For people who want to know what is the Keith Andrew Network, the whole point of my talk show is to show people that even with having a learning disability, I can still amount to something. And at the same time, I'm able to turn myself into an example for people out there dealing with any types of learning disabilities and disabilities to never give up and prove people wrong. Prove to them that labels do not dictate who you are and who you're going to be. To prove to them you can stand out to something. With that being said, the first question I want to ask you is because if everyone sees the description on the bottom of the screen, obviously they're watching this on Facebook and YouTube right now, so they can see on the description box, you are a professional actor. So the first question I want to ask you is, how was it starting your career?
It was, it's always been fun, but it has been some work. I was a theater actor first, through grade school, high school, college, etc. I moved to California to get into TV and film, but had to transition from theater to film. And it was a lot of work, doing a lot of short films in the beginning and local commercials, local print ads, just trying to build my resume to acquire an agent to get to the next level and progress my career.
No, absolutely. Now, you do have a couple interesting items that you have in the background, but before we talk about, I see you're a diehard New York fan. Before we get to that, I want to actually go over the box number 2, my friend's wife from Australia, and I just want to say thank you for joining us. Can you hear me, or?
The connections are bad.
Yeah, I kept resetting the routers and everything. I really don't know what the hell is going on. But can you hear me on your side?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, so
I don't know if he can. Well, he just changed his background. Maybe that's what happened.
I have no idea. But the first question I want to ask you is the same thing I asked our first guest in box number 1. You are also a professional actress.
Yes and no. I am a professional actress. Okay, I'm just going to answer your question and leave it at that. I'm sure you're going to come up with another question.
All right. Well, I did see on your Facebook that you do refer to yourself as an actress.
I am an actress now. Yes.
All right, perfect. So the other question, going back to box number 1, is we see you have a New York Yankee hat. So as a fellow New Yorker, you gotta support your team. But the question I want to ask you is, who were some of your favorite players, and what can you tell us about the case behind it?
Favorite Yankee players or favorite Giant players or favorite Knicks players? I mean, I got them all.
Tell us a little of everything.
Favorite Giant players would probably be Phil Simms, Michael Strahan, Tiki Barber, to name a few. Knicks fans or Knicks players, I would go with the early 90s with Ewing, Starks, Oakley, Mason, those fearsome 5 back then. Yankees players, Jeter is probably still one of my all-time favorites. I would still say the great Bambino, Roger Maris, a lot of the old greats. It's hard to pick one or two when you've got so many from that franchise.
No, absolutely. And now go back to box number 2. While we're on the theme of baseball, do you have baseball in Australia?
Who are you asking?
Box 2, that's you.
I'm actually not in Australia. I'm in Los Angeles.
Oh, I was looking at your
That's
profile.
for
I guess I got the two profiles mixed up. But let's do something different. I was going to ask you guys, go back to box 1, box 2. But because both of you are an actor and an actress, so I want you guys to interact with each other and ask each other questions. So I'm going to throw out the first subject, and both of you can answer it as you like. So the first question I want to ask you, going to box number 1, what attracted you to begin your career?
I was an entertainer for as long as I can remember. I did my first grade school play. I think I was like 9. I was one of those kids that always knew that he wanted to do something in the entertainment industry. I started doing stand-up at 19. Like I said, grade school, high school, college. There was never any other thought as to what I wanted to be or what I wanted to do when I got older.
Oh, absolutely. What about box number 2?
Well, my story is very different than yours. Yes, I always wanted to know what kind of field I wanted to be in, but that's not how it went. How did I get into it was after years of working in medical offices. That ended. The group closed up, and I had to look for a new job. I realized that half of my life I have worked in something that wasn't my passion, and I was going to spend the next half in something that I was passionate about.
No, absolutely. You have to be 110% passionate. If you're not, you got to set up yourself for failure. But, I did get confused with another person I was talking to. And the reason for that is I typed your name in. And I don't know if you can see the profile. Maybe if I move it. See?
Yeah, kind of, yes.
So I typed your name in. I said, okay, this is who I'm going to be talking to. So I wrote my questions. And I was like, it's coming up as a woman's picture. Okay, maybe about his wife or something. And then I'm like, okay, maybe I should have done a little more research. But hey, point of the show, disability. So you're not going to get everything right off the top of your head. But going to box number 1, do you have any questions you want to ask me and our guests?
So what started you with wanting to do your own show?
All right, so to make a long story short, for the longest time, I've been using my disability as a crutch. I was saying, I can't do this, I'm not qualified, I can't go to college. Instead of, repeating myself for the past 8.5 years, to give you the highlights, I was diagnosed on the spectrum of being retarded because I read and learn at a middle school, high school level. So on that, and people are like, oh, you can't go to college, you can't do this. When someone says no to me, that just fires me up. It's like, what? I'm going to turn that no into a yes, even if it backfires in my face. So I turn a weakness into a strength. I'm not good at reading scripts, but I wrote my own little script here. I'm not good at, saying people's names. So maybe I do that in my next season, introduce the guest, first name, last name. But I was like, what? Well, every season is going to be different. Every season has a different introduction, different theme, Obviously, have the background and everything. So every season it's different. And to answer your question, I just got tired of using, excuses. I hate excuses. People say, isn't that the pot calling the kettle black? Because when you look at me, I'm always pulling an excuse out of my ass. So I'm just like, all right, I'm going to show you, look at what I can do at my own pace. And there we are. Over 800 episodes. I found people on LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter. None of them came to me. I came to them. Obviously, it would be nice if it was the complete opposite. But, it's a progress. If you don't teach yourself anything, it's not going to happen. And that's probably with your acting career. You probably want to be like, Denzel Washington or Robert Downey Jr. Yes, being an actor is great, but it's not a 9 to 5 job. You're not punching in, punching out Monday through Friday. You have to, pull it out of your ass and say, I will give the best possible performance that I can and hope, it opens a door. Because being an actor is not an easy job. I tried it for one day. I gave up on it because the acting coach was asking for too much money. But, it's the biggest thing is people are like, you want to be a professional athlete. You want to be a professional wrestler. That's their gimmick. What's your gimmick? Mine is like, I have a disability. I can use it as a strength or use it as a crutch. And I got tired of using it as a weakness. And here you go, make a long story short. You have to be 110% passionate. Speaking from experience of doing things half-ass, you never know who you're going to meet. You never know who you're going to come across. And you have that first 10 seconds of making a good impression on somebody's life. So don't say, I have to work in this job and I hate this job. I don't want to be here. The manager sucks. I know, I've been there, but you don't know who you're going to come across with. And say down the road, that person comes across you again and says, I remember you. You had the I don't care attitude. Why should I hire you if that's what I'm going to get? So remember, I'm not trying to preach to you or anything. Everyone says you have the first 5 seconds. I like 10. 10's a solid number. You have the first 10 seconds to make a solid impression on somebody.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that answers your question.
Oh, yeah. And I agree with it. There's a lot. It is anything worth doing is going to be hard work. And if you do the hard work, my grandfather always said that if you want the everything, you might have to work forever for it. So.
No, absolutely. Sounds like a wise man.
He didn't do too bad.
About box 2, do you have any questions you want to ask both of us?
I'm sure it will come up in our conversations here, but I just want to say to you, Keith, that you're a very strong person, and I admire what you're doing. I totally admire it. I do not look at whatever it is, because we all have hangups. None of us are perfect. But when something is taken, something else is given. So you've got to find the gifts that you have to replace, it's like pros and cons. And I'm sure you have plenty of them.
I can write a book about it.
Yes.
Actually, I did. That was my first book. Yeah, but that's a completely different story. I'll give you guys a quick highlight. It was called When You Overcome Controversy. I thought it was a good title. When you overcome controversy, dreams do come true. And of course, I talked to exuberance. I said, Is it readable? Can you fix the spelling, grammar? Well, I pay whatever. Just make sure people are able to read it. Oh, it's fine. Got the book. And then you're probably thinking, how do you spell title? Well, obviously now I know it's Title. But then, 9 years ago, before the talk show, long story about that, it was tittle. Tittle. So it's like the tittle of the story. I'm like, if this was supposed to be like a parody or a bad joke about my life, hey, here you go. You have something left. But, for my talk show, I try to make it different. And I'm jumping through hoops, and I hate, and you guys can relate to this, jumping through hoops. And, you have to work around, your father's, well, for me anyway, I work around my father's schedule. We adopted a golden retriever. Her name is Arya. So if you guys like Game of Thrones, the dragon person was named Arya Stark. So my dad's obsessed with Game of Thrones, so we named the dog Arya. So I have to work around the damn dog schedule. I have to work around my brother and my sister's schedule. And the time I'm like, okay, perfect. I have time to do whatever I want to. Oh, by the way, I need you to help me with this. You had all freaking day to tell me that. And it's kind of like, I know I have to reschedule interviews. And if I have to reschedule interviews, it looks unprofessional. But having my own studio, it's something I'm working on. And the other big thing is, as a way, I don't know, I'm hoping to get this fixed or call Optimum to get their asses in here. Now the internet is starting to act up. It's kind of like, it's like someone twisting your arm. You ever notice when you ask your family for anything, you have to twist their arm? But of course, when they ask you, of course, I drop whatever I'm doing, whatever you need. But when you need something, well, I'm busy, or I'm not really in the mood for that. Or anyway, this is a very special episode. I haven't done my interviews as of late because the last time I tried, the internet crashed, it freezes, and I'm thinking to myself, why, mate? He's like, why is this only directed at me? But to get what you want in life, and this is not the pity show, or I do apologize, but you have to, and it's uncensored, by the way, for PG-13, and both of you will agree with this, and I'll pass it over to you guys. You have to eat shit to get what you want. You have to do things that you do not want to do to get where you are. Doesn't matter if you're an actor, an actress, and yes, I do make people drink. Thank you for pointing that out. I was told that. But, it's kind of like you need to jump through hoops to get to the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. And so I want this to be more interactive. So do you guys have any other questions for each other, or this is your time?
Well, I will tell you a little bit of story. Maybe that will bring up some questions, maybe from you or from you, Dante. Well, Keith, talking about not being able to pronounce words correctly. I wasn't born in the US. I was born in the Middle East, and I was a teenager when I moved actually down south. We're talking about state of Georgia. So on top of knowing English, I actually had to deal with Southern accent. I talked funny all the time. I never forget it. We were surrounded and they wanted me there because I sounded funny. Ha ha. So I would laugh. We all have something, as I mentioned, but you can write a book and I can write a book, and something as an actress, I can tell you I just finished a script, which I'm turning it into a movie, a film. And you said things are hard, or as you worded it, you have to eat shit. Yes, but it will be my shit. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Like you said, for every episode's different. It's not to like, I wanted to be like Bill Maher and Bill O'Reilly. Obviously you don't see him anymore. He crawled under wherever he came from. I liked him. I didn't care he slept with women. I liked Bill Maher. He was good. Not Bill Maher, I apologize. Bill O'Reilly. He was good at what he did. I don't care about his personal life. If you're on TV and you're giving the news, that's all you have to do is give the news. No one has to know your personal life or what you do. It doesn't matter. But what do you think? You're going back to box number one.
As far as,
well, like I said, there's no theme for this episode, so I promise to make it up to you guys for our next one. So this one, we're just like spitballing it.
Well, I mean, as far as being in the entertainment business as a whole, I think anytime that you are under the limelight, in the spotlight, in front of the camera, that as long as you're honest with your performance and honest with yourself, and you're living in your truth in your moment, and if you're playing a character, as long as you make a decision on what the character is going to be, how they're going to be, and you play that decision all the way through, and you're honest with it, I think it's okay.
No, absolutely. And actually, the last question I want to ask, and we're going to end the show on a hard-hitting note, it's stereotypes. Obviously, when people say, for me, they're like, oh, you're the talk show host. You have disabled people on your show, right? Well, why are you talking to me? I don't have a learning disability. I'm not disabled. Okay, that's not the reason for the show. My show is to show you labels do not dictate who you are and who you want to be. And somehow, and I always try to reach out to Gothic girls because I got so many people on the show, professional actors, actresses, wrestlers, voiceovers. It doesn't make a difference who you are. I had, whites, blacks, Spanish, Asians, people in Middle Easterns, Indians. I don't give a damn who they are. If they're in the entertainment world, if they're funny and they have a great story, you're more than welcome on the show. But somehow it always goes back to an argument when you say, oh, it's great what you're doing, but I don't have a disability. Why you want me on your show? By having you on the show, you're supporting the message and the cause. And it's kind of like this oxymoron of, big elephant in the room. If you don't see it, then it's not invisible. But the last question I want to ask you going to box one is, with everything that you accomplish in your life, have you overcome controversy? Well, now you have me thinking about my book. Have you overcame, the whole stereotype? And for people out there who want to follow in your footsteps, what are your words of wisdom?
Well, I think Hollywood in general is a big stereotype. And getting into the business as a Black man in America, I've been stereotyped, and I play a lot of bad guys because that's what they see me as. I'm okay with it for now. I know within myself that there are different layers, caveats, onions, whatever you want to call it. So I'm okay with it for now. I got to meet Jamie Foxx years ago after an award ceremony, and we got to talking, and I asked him, as a musician, as a comic, as an actor, how do you decide which one to do? And he said, do whatever is going to get you through the door first. Let the industry, let them stereotype you, let them typecast you as a certain individual, and build on that. Play the bad guy, be the bad guy. And then when you get known to a certain extent, he said, surprise them with something else. He said, but work with what they give you to get in the door. My words of, I guess, wisdom to anybody is to follow your dreams. I was told in high school many times that, it was a competitive business and that I would never make it in the industry just because I'm fighting for 5,000 other spots. I just never stopped. And so to anybody of any nationality, any race, boy, girl, black, white, whatever the case may be, no matter what it is that you're passionate about, whether it's film, TV, dentistry, medical school, whatever the case is, if you love it and it's something that you honestly want to do and you have a passion for it, then don't let anybody tell you no.
No, absolutely. And Box too?
Yes, I want to say something to Dante. Because of going through a lot of acting classes and researching for my film, I have learned so much. And Dante, what is your brand? You need to specify what your brand is and show that to the entertainment industry. You don't wait until they tell you what your brand is. If I may say so, I'm very blunt. So
No, it's all good. It is okay. And I'm okay with that right now. Like I said, I don't mind. And actually, I like playing the bad guys right now. Because when you're playing somebody of that nature all the time and they always kind of give me free reign, there aren't a lot of rules. And I like that. And I like to push myself to see sometimes just how bad or evil I can get. So I'm okay with it for now. I always said that when I got tired of it, then I would change and then get into something else. But I think that I'm okay with that for now because I also am a comic. I also do music. So I have other avenues that take my focus every now and then and other things within the entertainment industry. I'm not just pigeon myself into one role, into one career. So I guess that's why I'm okay with it for now. But I get what you're saying.
No, I agree with you, Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Sorry, Keith.
Go ahead. I really need to get this freaking internet fixed. It's really, really annoying.
Well, Dante, mine is drama. Okay, that's my genre. There's so much that you can actually do. Just having that drama, it can go into romantic. It can go into, I can even fight and still be into a drama, which that is my next step. I'm going to take stage combat. I can see you, Dante. I can see you since you said you also a comedian.
Yes. I just headlined a show about 2 weeks ago. I've got another one in about another 3 weeks that I got to prep for.
I see that in you. Not even knowing you, I can see that you could do that. You can play comedies.
Yeah, I do okay.
Yeah.
I do okay.
Hey, never say never.
That's the maternal side of me comes out and reach out and wants to help.
Come give me a hug.
Yes.
Tell me it's gonna be okay. Tell those boys down the street to stop picking on me.
They are. I beat him up, my darling boy. Who is it? Show me.
They tried to say I was a bad boy. Oh.
They said that to you, didn't they?
Oh boy. See, it's after 5 o'clock. I get a little delirious.
But I do have a couple questions for you guys off the air. But wrapping up, I wanted to do something very special that I usually saved. Actually, this is sort of like an off interview because I had a script and I was like, you know what, let's just swing it. So the thing I wanted to do, my new thing at season 10, to tell you guys right now, is when you do words of recommendation, that video usually plays in the beginning of the episode. So what I'm going to do for season 10 is have it play like for a commercial break or have it at the end of the show. So Dante, I'm going to pass it over to you. I want you to be brutally honest. When I first approached you to be a guest on my talk show, what made you say yes? How do you feel now? And what do you recommend it to other people?
When I first was I was curious, because I didn't know you or what the premise of the show was about. So yeah, I would say curiosity was probably the first thing I thought. And then I was like, sure, why not? Doing this whole Zoom thing makes it a lot easier. And I was like, well, great. I don't have to get dressed. I can do it in my boxers in my own living room. This is perfect. I don't have to go anywhere. Why not? In this internet age, everything moves at the speed of light, and things move so quickly. And it's the plus and minus about the internet is that, you can touch, millions of people in a minute. And of course, the bad side is you can touch 1 million people in a minute. So I was like, sure. I was like, why not? I'll try anything once. And recommend it, to anybody that either wants to help get their own name out, wants to use it as kind of a stepping stone to practicing being interviewed, or folks that just want to stare at themselves in their living room. Why not?
No, absolutely. And you make a new friend out of it. So it's a win-win.
This is true.
Box 2?
Yeah. Well, I've always said that I wanted to have a spiritual, what's the word that I just had? Purpose in what I do. Even in acting, I want to keep my humbleness and in the process help others. I'm really busting to actually help actors that want to get known, to invite them into my film and give them what they need. And I just need you guys to pray that all the doors open up and I can fulfill this purpose.
No, absolutely. Hey, like one of my favorite quotes from my favorite cartoon, Dragon Ball, if there's a will, there's a way.
Exactly. True. I believe in that.
And if the door closes, then we use the window.
I believe in impossible. I always say everything is possible.
It is. Well, wrapping up our talk show, it was a real honor and privilege having you guys on the show, and I'm looking forward to part 2 down the road. I just want to say thank you very much.